home building and remodeling show. Let's go. Welcome everybody to the home building and remodeling show. My name is Chris Kirby and I'll be your host. I am the owner of 3 construction companies on the Alabama Gulf Coast. The show is about residential construction. We're going to cover topics of home building and remodeling. Are you thinking of doing a remodel or building a home? Are you a contractor looking to improve your knowledge base or grow your business? Have you ever done a remodel project or built a home? There were so many things you wish you knew or that you could have done differently during the process. Then this show is for you. We break down the process of building and remodeling and how to have the best results during your project. Whether you're a DIYer looking for tips, someone looking to hire a contractor to do a project, or a contractor looking to expand your knowledge base or your business. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you. Stay tuned. We kick off the show with my thoughts on home building and remodeling. I'll share best practices and talk about some of our experiences in business and out in the field. These shared thoughts and lessons learned are meant to help you on your very own journey. Let's go. I did 20 years in the Navy, and so the way that we run our company is a little bit different than some construction companies. We focus on home building, custom home building, and residential remodeling. And most of my team, most of the employees are on the remodeling side, and we run teams, 2 to 3 man crews that they go out and they do kitchen and bath remodels or whole home remodels. Most of them's background is in flooring or tile installation or trim carpentry. And then we have our what we call apprentices, and it is kind of military style. So when I bring in somebody as an apprentice, it could be 18-year-old off the street that comes in, he interviews with us, and I'm going to hire him as an apprentice 1. And every 1,000 hours, they not only do they get a pay bump, but they are now an apprentice 2, an apprentice 3, and then they become remodeling journeyman, and then you become a master remodeler. And that comes with time and tracking those hours. And we've implemented that here because it's really not a thing for remodelers. So plumbers go out and they have to document hours and track hours and get a certain amount of hours under a certified plumber or a master plumber. And so there was nothing like that for remodelers. And remodelers typically are the ones that do the tile work and the trim work and different things like that. Trim carpenters and tile installers, floor installers. And so our company, we do whole home remodels. We do bathrooms. We do kitchens. And so we bring those young men and women in as apprentices, and then they level up and they're learning and growing with our company, and they're W-2 employees. So we don't do 1099. They are W-2 employees, and we're still growing that employee base. That's the way I felt I wanted to grow my company, in the way that I wanted to make pay transparent. I wanted, when they walk in the door, I wanted them to be able to see their path laid out. Now, at a certain point, they can choose to stay in that master remodeler lane, because believe me, I want to pay them well to be master craftsmen. I want to pay them well to be out in the field. So I encourage that I pay more for the people out in the field than I do the people in the office. And it really depends on job scope. And that's because we make money off of the remodeler's back. We make money off of the people out in the field. And so I take care of them. I give them their paid time off. I give them vacation time. I give them health benefits, dental benefits. We have a 401k, and those things happened over time. So we supply all of that because they're out in the field working hard, and your overhead doesn't happen without the production side. So if they're not out there producing, you're not making money. I want those top level producers. I want those craftsmen to enjoy what they do and want to stay out in the field and work. And then if not, there are advancement opportunities. There's estimators and assistant project managers and project managers, crew leads and assistant crew leads. And those opportunities are there as well. However, there's a management track, and then there's the craftsman track, and you can stay at the craftsman track. Not everybody is built for estimating and sales and project management, and so that's why I offer basically that 2-lane path for any apprentice that comes in. And now we move into Shop Talk. It's the portion of the show where I bring in a co-host and we cover trending topics in home building and remodeling. Hope you enjoy. Let's go. How do you feel about the strength of the industry right now? How many estimates do you I know you just kind of jump back to that side, but how many estimates are you doing in the kitchen and bath world right now?
I had told her to kind of leave me at 5 or 6 a week.
Yeah, but if you and
that's everything I go to is either kitchen and bath. So most of them are kitchen and bath. Like they want both of them.
Yeah. So there's something that you said that stuck out, and people are like, "What do you mean? Keep me at?" So we don't just do estimates all day, every day, right?
Right.
We schedule our estimates, and how many days a week are you doing right now?
Pretty much any day except for Thursdays.
Okay. And, this is something that we learned a long time ago was if you go and do estimates every single day, it's hard for you to take time and sit and write them.
Right.
Right. And not only that, but when you're doing your estimate, it's not just cut and dry every time. For the most part, you're having to look at sizes. And earlier when I walked back there, you actually had the Schluter book open and you were looking at.
Right.
So why is it important? And for any business owner or construction company owner, contractor, why is it important to set aside and not just always run and gun and stack as many estimates in as you can? Why do you feel like we do that? And why do you prefer to have that office day?
To be able to be more thorough helps me eliminate any issues, as in like things that I can miss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I like to go through and look at all the pictures while I'm doing it, just to, because sometimes you don't realize it, but you might be taking something out and there's an outlet there and you didn't even notice it. You know what I mean? But now you need to be able to figure in to move the electrical out of the way or something like that.
So you're always taking pictures.
Yes.
Yeah. And the importance of that, just like what you said, when you go to your estimate, you're sitting down, you meet the client, and you're going to talk to them. And some of them like to talk a lot.
Yeah, because they're going to spit out a lot of information all at once.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're kind of like...
And you're trying to capture
keep up with it, and you're looking at the same time.
Yeah.
And then you go back after everything I wrote down, I started asking questions about this and that.
And that's where, when I was doing it, that I was always... meet the client, walk through with them, right? If they had to be out really quick, then it was a little tougher, but I would always walk through and take notes as they were talking. And then I would at the end say, hey, I need to go back through and do my pictures. And that's really where the meat of everything comes from, because once you what you do, once you get back to the office and you start looking at all your pictures, you start seeing, oh, I didn't notice that switch.
Right.
And, just kind of in your head start going through, I wonder if that wall's load bearing, all the different details, right? And you need time for that.
Yes.
So, yes, you can come up with a rough number fairly quickly given your experience. You know what I mean? A guest bathroom in the same model type of home over and over. You understand rough costs. But the details, right, it's different every time. And there's something, it's inevitable that almost every job we have some sort of, delay for one reason or another. And so it's not just cut and dry. So taking the time, thinking through it, looking at pictures. So like doing estimates every single day, if you're always out in the field doing them, you don't have the time to come back and sit and think and write them up. Okay. Well, Adam, was doing project management for a long time, and he still helps run Kirby Custom Renovations, and
He's now helping out with the estimating again, just so we can complete the process. Here we're always, promoting people and trying to level up, and part of you going back and forth between project management and estimating is the challenge of consistency. So what we didn't want to do in our company is we didn't want to have a brand new estimator when you already had all the tools, right? And so now you can help run the company. And then, our estimator moved over to the home building side. Yeah. And now he's a construction superintendent on the home build side. And we needed that consistency. And you are already running it as the project manager. And a lot of times the people in the field, the construction people, team, guys and girls, it's easier for them to run construction than it is to learn that admin side, that estimating side. And realistically, the difference for us these days is not only do you take the time and you just have more knowledge of process, but talk about some of the things that we're doing to hand over the job, because you're the estimator, but you're not out there actually doing the work.
Right. So the way we're doing things now is after a job gets accepted, I'm trying to take David out as soon as possible to go ahead and get, his foot in the door with the client as well.
And let him meet. And that's our project manager.
Just kind of talk through it, go through everything I went through with the client. And that kind of helps put a second set of eyes on things too. Like a job that we started this week, me and him, I didn't estimate it, but me and him went to do the walkthrough last week with the crew lead.
Yeah.
And we both, started finding things that were missed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's easy. It's easy to do. But so like in a room, we're making it a new laundry pantry area, and we're building a wall to create a hallway, because it's kind of like a office style. It's wide open room, and then there's a bedroom on the backside.
Okay, yeah.
So we're going to build a wall and put an entry door to make it its own room. And we noticed the AC's going to be where the
you're going to cut it off.
So we got to relocate the ceiling fan. If we build the wall, the blades are going to be clipping the new wall. So we got to move that over.
Yeah.
And it always helps just bringing somebody else in to put some more eyes on it, because when you're there doing your estimate, there's a lot going on. You got somebody talking the whole time, and, you're trying to.
So basically we're putting, so from the initial call.
I kind of got away from that, but
No, it is because, from the initial call, the estimator will set up, the office manager sets you up for an appointment. You go out, let's just say a week later, you do the estimate, right? You're walking through, taking pictures. You come back, they say, oh, I like that number, and they accept. Well,
there's a 4 or 5 month lag between.
Yeah. So a company like ours, where we're booked out, it may be 4 months before we start the job. And typically what we do is we get a deposit and we order materials. So our logistics manager, our materials clerk, they may be reaching out and asking questions about materials, but other than that,
they don't have no eye-to-eye contact or anything. So it helps for us to get over there as quick as possible. That way, David can establish a relationship with them and
do what you just talked about too, though, is so now you've got the estimator who went out and looked at the job and talked with the client. Now we're bringing back the project manager who is going to look at the job again, meet the client, and be the eyes on site when the construction starts. But he also gets to look around and say, wait, did you say we were doing this? Hey, did you realize that you estimated for this, but we can't do it because of XYZ? I don't know if you noticed. Right. And then you work out those details with the client, and you've heard what the client said now about what they expect. Mm-hmm. Now the project manager has heard what the client says about what they expect. And then a week before, right? Yep. The week before, what do we do?
Before we take the actual crew lead that's going to be running the job and walk him back through and let him know everything that we've all discussed. And that way everybody's on the same page. they know what they're expecting, and we know what they're expecting. So everything.
And they have now communicated it 3 times, right? And before we weren't doing that. We were kind of bypassing the project manager, and you sat in that seat where we would win the job, and then go 4 months, and all the materials are here. It's time to start the job, and we would be lucky if we even had the time to take the crew leader sometimes. So realistically, you go 4 months.
Or if we did do the walkthrough, we didn't have the estimator, so we weren't quite all on the same page, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it does make for a pain when the client is, expecting something, and you as the estimator, you're in their house 30 minutes, maybe an hour, and then you're done, and you don't see the job, for 4 months, and then the crew lead walks in, they start demo, and they're like, a lot of stuff's not. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so we're trying to improve, and that's a part of what we do at the Home Building and Remodeling Show is tell our story so people with those types of experiences can hopefully learn something. But we'll dig in a little bit more next time, man. As always, I appreciate you coming on and telling us about what you've got going on and helping us out. So until next time, we'll see you.
All right.
Now we're going to move into the portion of the show where we talk interior design. We're going to bring in an interior designer, and we're going to talk trending design and products. Hope you enjoy. Let's go.
But yeah, so have an interior designer come in and make all these selections to make your life easier.
Yes.
But also so it'll sell quicker.
Yeah.
So you don't want to sit on that property.
Yes, that piece, but also, like you said, some stuff that makes sense. But, we are investors. We're not interior designers.
Right.
So there's a point where if you're thinking something looks good, I can tell you now, my team, our team of interior designers, they let me know when stuff does not look good all the time, probably more than y'all should, but it's okay. But no, so that is another benefit to it, though, that as an investor, you may make the wrong choice. You may make the wrong selection that doesn't make sense. It makes sense to you because you're an investor. You're looking at properties. You may have some experience in flipping and stuff. So you know some basics, but having a professional design, help with layout, help with selections, and putting the right stuff in the house. Even as a realtor, it's going to go further because what you envision for the comps, the investor has to make that align with the design of the home, right? So when you're running comps, it's the after repair value. Well, the after repair value is based on comparable homes in the area. Well, as an investor, we don't know all of those details.
Right.
So you can say, look, here's what other homes have. And as the interior designer, you can say, this is what we need to put in. And not only because it makes sense for the comps, but it looks good compared to what, and have you ever run into that? Like, have you run into where you have worked with a flipper or an investor and they're not making the right choices? Like, you're like, that's an iffy, color on the wall or anything like that. Have you seen that?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen them, and I've walked into properties, showing other, clients myself, and, they put a shiny picture on the description and, and then you walk in the door and it's, placement of walls and bright colors and just, you want to be trendy, but not too trendy. But, you walk into some and you're like, oh, that's the deal breaker.
So I'm glad you said that. So, and it just, so as an investor, it is smart to have a professional even evaluate and help you come up with a game plan before you get started. Because like you said, once it's done, it's done.
It's done.
And so you, as a real estate agent walking in with a client, you're like, ooh, so you actually can hurt the value of the property by making the wrong choice, the wrong decision, selection, layout, stuff like that. But whereas if you have somebody like yourself, an interior designer, a good contractor, a good realtor, those things can help you sell, make the right decisions, and get the work done properly as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's definitely a team effort. I've been in a lot of properties to where it's like a Mona Lisa from a distance. It looks good.
Sure.
But when you're looking up close at like actual finished work, I've walked in and simple things of paint. Like paint makes a huge difference.
Sure,
like,
absolutely.
Just that alone, like you come in, it looks crisp and clean. It looks new.
Yeah.
But I've walked in properties where they didn't even clean the property and they painted over dirt and they painted over dust and you're seeing the clumping and all these weird things. And it's just like you wasted your time.
Yeah.
But all those things matter. I mean, from who you're working with to do all the renovations
Sure.
and who's running it and the realtor and the designer. I mean, collectively we need to work together and make sure that it is a clean, finished product because ultimately it's going to sit.
You want to have a team, and that's, kind of, I go back to that word turnkey, but as an investor, your bottom line is you want to make money off the deal.
Oh, right.
Right? You want to, not only do you want to make money off the deal, but you don't want it to be time consuming, heavy lifting for your part, especially if you're out of town or you're unable to visit the property quite frequently. And you don't want to be a general contractor. Right. You need a team. So where you are a realtor, we have an interior design team. We have a construction team, right? We have engineers, and we have just people that can make the entire deal possible, and putting all of the pieces together in the beginning, putting everybody in the room at the same time up front to talk through that, right? Because it's important the vision needs to be there, but like the realtors is the start of that vision because you know what the comps look like.
Right.
And so you can say, here is what needs to be done. And then the designer says, okay, now I know what needs to be done. Let's talk about the vision from the interior design perspective. Let's start making drawings, yada, yada. And then the contractor is going to do the work, but they've got to pull permits. They've got to have engineered drawings. Those things are all things that we can provide turnkey. So when you're looking to do this and when you're looking at a property, make sure that those key people are the right people to work with, right? Your contractor, your realtor, and then take it a step further and do hire an interior designer because they provide so much. They are your eyes and ears. So Christy and I talked about this on one of the podcasts, but the interior designer is a mediator, really is what it is. Your job is to you present a vision to a client. As an investor, you should present a vision to that investor. And the investor's like, looks good. They're excited. Well, then from there, your job is to make selections and keep the vision intact. So you're acting as a mediator. And when the contractor, one of our companies, they say, hey, listen, we're not able to move that wall without an engineer, or, we can move it, but you have to put a column right there. Right? And some of those things you don't know in the beginning. It's just a rendering. But once you rip open and do the demo, you're like, oh, got to have a column. The engineer isn't going to budge. He says there's got to be something supporting it. Well, having an interior designer involved, you now just pivot. You say, okay, here's the original drawing. Now I've got to have the column. Let's make this work. Here's the new vision. You see what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And those are things that without a team like that, you're doing on your own. Oh,
for sure. I mean, and then you have wasted time. I mean, you're going to sit there and kind of, spin your wheels and what should I do? And, being out in the market and me being in just so many homes.
Yeah.
I know like a feel for what people are looking for.
Sure. Thanks for joining us today. As always, we are grateful for our listeners and your continued support. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on social media via Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Get more info at our website, www.thehomebuildingshow.com. And as always, remember who we are, the Home Building and Remodeling Show.